Time to play Magic against Pro Hillary in round 2. I would like to play first. Do I want to keep? Yeah, I'll keep. A bunch of 2-drops. And then eventually some big ol' 4-drops. What do I want to lead with? Probably Sun Guide. Get the most advantage early on. Ooh. Now I want 1 Plains and 1 Mountain. So I can actually cast these cards. Ideally Plains first and then the Mountain. Yeah, that was the opposite of what I wanted, but whatever. Actually, I should have just played my card in F6, so I forgot my opponent cannot interact. Play the Rambler. More likely to want to trade it off. Do I make a trade? I don't think so. My opponent can easily play like a 2-3 or something, but... Ooh, Ordeal. That's going to get a little bit scary. I could do a double block next turn. As in play the Stonewise Fortifier. If I can draw a Plains right now, that'd be cool. Come on, Plains. Sun God's okay. Can tap it down for a turn. Problem is, if my opponent has any combat trick, I get blown out. Because if I play the Stonewise Fortifier, I mean, a 2 for 2 isn't the end of the world. Yeah, I think I just have to leave up the Glimpse and try to dig for the, try to dig for a Plains in order to get the Archetype out. So I can hold my dudes back and try to block that way. Still not great with a combat, against a combat trick, but we could get there. Beginning of combat next turn, I'm going to tap down that Brawler. Nice. Play this guy, attack with the Sun Guide. Hope there's no removal spell. Probably will be. Still lose things, but I think it's worth the risk right now to try to put both these guys in front of the Fellhide Brawler before the Ordeal can blow. Cure? Frika's Cure would suck. I mean, there's a lot of things that would suck that my opponent can have right now to make this not an awesome situation. I have 2 more activations before this guy goes off, so not good. I'll definitely get 2 cards, because I'll get to play one of my spells next turn. Alright, so my opponent just kind of wanted to stress me out a little bit. It worked. Definitely worked. Do you have a trick? You do. Grand. Awesome. Well, what could it be? Could be like a Necrobite, could be a boon, but both are regen tricks. I assume this is a Pharika's Cure to try to like incite a double block and then do a 2 for 1. Yeah, I think my opponent has a Pharika's Cure, which is what my opponent was debating last turn playing, trying to like knock out one of my guys. And was thinking, oh, well, maybe I can bait that out for my opponent. If not, it was a good bluff on my opponent's part for doing that. There's another Brawler. Do I have anything that can deal with this so I don't have to discard a bunch? Not really. Maybe I just win on the race then. Well, at least I can play the Minotaur so it can... Oh, no. It's going to become a 5/5. Yeah, we're just racing now. First strike is good. My opponent can certainly do the cure, take one out, and then do a trade, but then we're doing 1-for-1, and I still have a 5-power dudes coming across. And I'm kind of winning the race that way, so we'll see. We're just getting a huge card disadvantage here. And we're only kind of in this because my opponent seems to be a little bit screwed. Yeah, here comes a cure to take out the archetype. And then this guy goes down, they trade. Oh, Feast of Dreams too. Yeah, I gotta remember that card exists. I still haven't really memorized all of the new combat tricks around town. Definitely want the Cyclops. It can trade with the Fellhide Brawler. So my opponent has to think before attacking. And it's a lot of pressure on the backswing. So maybe this deters my opponent. Ooh, another black-white drafters. Yeah, there's so many black-white drafters. And a Bioblight? Dang. Alright, now I'm a little worried about this. What do I ditch? Definitely these two. I want to be able to have a tradable... You have to target me. Thank you. I definitely want to be able to target... Or not target. I want to be able to block the Brawler. Try to deter some kind of attack. Now that my opponent has the white mana, probably has something good to play. Yep, that's great against my Satyr Rambler. Now I have extra lands. I will go ahead and offer a block here. I don't want to take on their 5, go down to 9. Or maybe not. No, it's just because my opponent can totally win that race. I mean, sure, I'm allowed to attack in with the Cyclops after that, but there's probably some other kind of removal spell or something. I assume my opponent wants to make that trade because my opponent has the win condition on board and can be draining for 2 a turn. I can't attack once my Cyclops is gone. It would definitely be a signal that my opponent doesn't have anything in hand should the Brawler hold back. Okay, what did my opponent decide to do? Not, okay. So my opponent doesn't have anything, but I didn't draw anything either. Do I wait for my opponent to just have nothing? I don't think so. I'm attacking him with a 5-2. My opponent has to block it or do something. It's a 3-turn clock right now, if the math works out. So there's 2 drains, then another 2 drains, yeah. No, it's a 4-turn clock, oy. Oh, or Divine Verdict. Yeah, that's gonna do it. Don't see myself coming back from that. Talk about removal, my friend. Yeah, that ordeal was just brutal. I think I played it how I should have, though. Don't think I could have done anything differently necessarily. I still think it was right to... my opponent was going to get that archetype anyway. So instead of letting my opponent have a 2-for-1 with archetype, I at least, did some 1-for-1s there. My opponent has a lot of enchantment hate. And I have a lot of lands. I guess it's not really enchantment hate. They're good cards that take out enchantments, but, I mean, Feast of Dreams is pretty much anything in this format. This guy can take out some more enchantment creatures. I have 1 enchantment creature, is that right? My Eidolon? The Fire Flamer? Or, I don't know, the Dragon Breather. I have to chump here, because the Brawler can come through, do 5, and then the Scholar can... well, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I guess I'm pretty much dead anyway. Because my opponent can untap here, but this gets me an out. Well, actually, I don't have the removal spells that have the out for that. I was going to say, if I have a removal spell that does that. But yeah, I'm just drawing a bunch of land. Doesn't matter if I do a land or not, like I said, because I was not thinking properly. I don't have removal spells that take these out, right? Right? Pretty sure. Fairly okay sure with that. And we'll just let my opponent finish off. Sorry, guys, I definitely have the policy of making my opponent kill me. There we are. I'll buy 3 sideboard cards. Will they be useful? Maybe. None of these, because I already have what I need. Setessan Battle Priest? Huh? I think it really does a whole lot. Yeah, we do the same thing. Keep it going. Why, yes, I would like to play first. Thank you. This isn't great, but I am going to keep it because 1 mountain gets me a Cerberus, and I do have a Lightning Strike. And I have both my colors of mana. I'd probably, one little thing off, like, you know, if I had 2 plains instead of a mountain, or rather, like, 2 mountains instead of a plain, still probably want to keep it. But this should be pretty okay. Now if we can just get to our lands, then we should be in very good shape, actually. Ha! My opponent's gonna be like, really? Playing Priest of Iroas? Now? Why, yes. Yes, I am. And I have no more lands to play. Another brawler. Well, I ain't blocking the kid. Now, am I? What's happening? I clicked OK, right? There we are. My opponent can get greedy, thinking that since I'm stuck on lands, I just don't have anything. Happy to take 2. This Lightning Strike needs to do more than just a 1-for-1. My opponent's also stuck on lands. Land? My opponent's discarding. I need a land or I'm going to discard. Yay! It is exactly the land I want. My opponent has to draw the Ordeal in order for that to be the case. And then I'm not as worried about anything else. My opponent could have one of those good removal spells. Yep, Bile Blight. Kind of glad the 2-head Cerberus took out the Bile Blight. Yeah, we're taking 2 a turn, which isn't awesome. My opponent did draw that Plains, which isn't awesome. But we're also getting to some of our spells soon enough. Scholar will end up being an issue. But we might be able to put enough pressure on my opponent to where it doesn't overly matter. Might. I shall stress. Get our big butt guy down. Or not our big butt, our big power down. Another removal spell could certainly take it out, but hopefully by the time the Conscriptors and the Thunderbrute get played, all the good removal spells will have already been dealt with. Like the Asphyxiate that we saw will have been used on a Cyclops. Not that I'm excited for those things, but Thunderbrute is kind of how we're winning this game right now. Opponent's going into combat. Is attacking. I will still not block, of course. What else is there? A Triad. That might take a Lightning Strike. For my opponent's waste a little bit of mana on it. It's definitely a good card. Impressive Raise. That, I think, is going to go on the Scholar of Athreos. Because that pretty much shuts it down for what it needs to be doing. Right? I don't have any other play besides the Warden right now, which isn't that great, so yeah. Just gonna go ahead and make sure my opponent can't block with the Scholar. Maybe actually I should have attacked first, because my opponent wanted to trade. Or just a chump, which I doubt would be the case. That would have been nice. Did not think of that. Because I would have been okay with that. If that's what my opponent wanted to do. Very okay. Ouch. I just hit my hand on my desk. That did not feel good. Does my opponent want to trade? My opponent does want to trade. How fascinating. Well, I'm okay with that. I mean, I know my opponent's beating out this Brawler, but we have ways to deal with it with this Lightning Strike. And this is going to make the Flurry of Horns quite nice. Chariot of Victory. How interesting. First strike, trample, and haste. As long as it doesn't increase power, I'm okay with that. At the moment. We're still going to whittle away here. Land! Yeah! So I could go ahead and keep one of the Minotaurs back for blocking. But I think I just want to go ahead and start attacking a bunch. That's 5-2, and I'm cool with that. So what scary 4-drop is there that my opponent could play and then put the Chariot of Victory over to give haste? That's what I'm considering right now. Wouldn't mind drawing a Heroic trigger at some point. As protection. Well, there's really nothing I want to steal from my opponent, I guess. Read the Bones. Not great. But if we're doing kind of a life racy battle, I'm kind of okay. No, that's not just, there's no way that's good for me, is it? Opponent has to attack in. Can't be blocking. We're still doing huge chunks of damage. Just would love another land so I can get this Thunder Brute down. Could take an Asphyxiate. Definitely could. Ooh, Archetype of Courage I think will play. Because it has first strike, and we can do a 1-for-1 trade and see if my opponent wants to do that. We also got to leave our Lightning Strike up. Otherwise, I could play the Warden, but that's not doing a whole lot. This could take a Feast here. But I'm not overly worried about that either. I think I'm saying Feast, right? Like, isn't it called Feast of Dreams? Isn't that instant the 2-mana instant that kills enchantments or enchanted creatures? I think so. Where do you ping 3 for? Oh, you're trying to activate? Oh no, you are blocking. Oh, okay. That's pretty interesting. I did not think of that. I'm okay. That's kind of a waste. I wish I didn't attack with the Priest, because I don't want to blow the Lightning Strike on it. But that's just my mistake. I don't think it's a huge one. I don't think the Priest is going to do a whole lot. Though there certainly are good enchantments I could get out there, and my opponent got a free block, and that's annoying. Because I was being sloppy. But yeah, I don't want the Lightning Strike to take out the Scholar, because the Oppressive Rise is already doing a good enough job in taking care of it for the most part. I should pay attention that my opponent can, be blocking fairly effectively there. be quite happy to block the Fellhide Brawler now, and then when my opponent tries to go to do a combat check or something, respond with a Lightning Strike. That is the game plan after all. Or I can just do the actual trade, but since I'm ahead on board, I'm like very okay with that. They both have first strike, that's cool. Alright, yeah, they just trade. Wait, does this guy have first strike? Oh yeah! The archetype, I forget other creatures can't have first strike. This time, I think a mistake my opponent might have made in attacking. Forgetting that. Alright, so we are even in our mistakes, although I think my mistake, because my creature was worse, was probably less detrimental. Well, that just got very exciting. Opponent played a land. Doing something else? Yes, casting something. A Drown in Sorrow. So you're just going to kill my archetype? Alright, that happens. And you get a scry. We still get a bash in for at least 2 next turn. I might get an 8/8 trample, because I can't imagine my opponent allowing me to have haste. Ooh, a glimpse. That's good. Not exactly what we want, but it's good. I guess we'll just play the conscriptors. Don't love showing my opponent the card, but it's like it's a super big trick, but we now have a heroic trigger. Should allow us to finish out the game. Divine Verdict. You're killing one of my Divine Verdicts. Or what? You're using Divine Verdict to kill my Minotaur? That is not cool. Well, despite my opponent using Read the Bones, opponent has drawn, looks like a couple extra lands than me, so I still have more cards in hand. And they're pretty good cards. I certainly like that a lot of removal has been used. The Drown and Divine Verdict most recently. Bile-Blight earlier. When did Aspect of Gorgon happen? Am I insane? Oh, that was the discard earlier. Yeah. I am insane. Ooh, 2/1 Vigilance. Not bad. With a Chariot of Victory. You're going to haste into some 2 points of damage, as you should, of course. Let's see. So if I go to combat, declare attackers, then glimpse my Crowan, I still might do this but can't be attacking. So I think I'm cool just playing the Thunderbrute. I could Lightning Strike the Eagle of the Watch right now. Three, 4, 5. Actually, I think I can kill my opponent here. If I tap down both the dudes, attack in for 5, yeah. Duh. And if there's any shenanigans, I have the Lightning Strike. Should have seen that sooner. My brain is going slow today. Thank you. Alright. So everyone's deck sucks, it seems. Right. Makes sense. Played two opponents who were playing the overdrafted colors like I was earlier. I jumped late, so I have a shitty deck, and then they were all fighting over colors. But my last opponent, I mean, does have a lot of removal, so it's probably doing what I was doing, picking up like all the removal spells, and then just has like really dorky creatures and just trying to finish everything off. Yeah, probably. I don't have, again, a sideboard against my opponent, because I don't have a sideboard, so. Alright, so, do I keep this hand? Oh. I've got lands, I've got spells, and no creatures, but I'm on the draw. I'm not gonna mulligan. I mean, one creature makes this a pretty decent hand. Glimpse of the Sun God could kind of, help me buy a turn in Scry, though I don't see myself ever actually doing that. Alright, having drawn 2 lands makes me very worried. I have all the lands I'll ever need for the rest of the game now. But my opponent is stuck. Oh my gosh. It's going to be one of those games. Well, at least we're both on the same kind of boat. I'm in a better boat, maybe? I don't even know. Yeah, my opponent's losing cards. I'm definitely in a better boat. But not guaranteed for this to go well, and it's definitely not at the moment. Could cycle the Glimpse for 0. Alright, opponent drew a 2-drop. That doesn't do a lot at the moment, so I still gotta buy some time. Are you kidding me? This is insane. Well, when I draw my 1 or 2 drops, I'll be able to put everything on it and then get blown out by a removal spell. How about that? Playing a 1-2 just so attacks can come in? Alright. That's the thing. Yay! I got a land. It's a pretty decent one. What do I want to do with it now? Put the Fearsome Temper on it. It's not really protected. What? Even one swamp, though. Yeah, I could get the that feast guy on it. That would be bad. Should have thought this through and kept the Dragon Mantle available. So my opponent went to Suicide in. I'm putting Dragon Mantle on because I do want to be using some mana and start digging into more stuff. My main worry is if like a swamp and then... I'm really sure it's called Feast of Dreams. Am I insane? The 1 in a black instant speed, destroy target enchantment or enchanted creature. Dragon Mantle, isn't a full 2-for-1 versus Fearsome Temper, which would be. Alright, cool. Opponent's still stuck. We have a nice little draw there. How do I want to do this? Just attack in with the Archetype and then play the Fortifier, pump up a bunch of the other things? Yeah, that's what I want to do. Try to get some damage in. Don't want to put a Fearsome Temper on the Archetype because my opponent will be able to fairly soon start, deploying some of those removal spells that I can only assume are there. But I do want to get in for full value here. Instead of, say, playing the Fortifier and playing the Fearsome Temper. My opponent's still not drawing land? That's really rough. I mean, my opponent can still get out of it if a land or two comes soon and there's like some good removal spells here since I've flooded out pretty well. But at this point, it's getting really, really far behind. Yeah, and another discard. Ouch. And I just keep drawing really good cards. I could play the Fearsome Temper, but I kind of just feel like pumping, keeping Bolt available. I guess that's bad. But my opponent's got to start blocking here, right? So there's a block. Opponent takes 2. I will pass the turn. Just want more creatures. Opponent's a 3-drop. It's a pretty decent card. It's going to take a Bolt. Ooh, that's good too. Yes, please. And then just pump for 1 and play the Cyclops. And my opponent's not blocking. Interesting. Okay. First strike all the way. Now I feel a little bit better. Drowned Sorrow is double black, so it'd be 2 turns before that happens. By then my opponent's dead. 1 removal spell could certainly take out a dude, but just a dude. Yeah. Won the game on a Mana Screw. You know, this is the second week in a row that a very mediocre deck that has no business being in the finals has gotten to the finals, so that's fascinating. Can I just kill my opponent? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, because both... I have 2 creatures that are lethal. There could be, like I said, Divine Verdict or some other kind of removal spell. I think I'll let my opponent play that now. My opponent wastes those cards as they were. So there's Brawler. Maybe there's a Divine Verdict here. Oh, I didn't pump. Oh, that was silly. Now it's like I actually want my opponent to do something. There goes the Feast. That goes down. This goes down. I can do 3, 4, 5. I mean, sure, they trade. Ding. Screw it. I'm playing sloppily, but I don't think it's going to matter. I don't know. That could have been really wrong. I think I just gave my opponent an out. Because 1 more removal spell takes out my 1 creature. And it gives my opponent definitely enough time to buy back into this game. Yeah, that was really bad. Okay, then we're okay. We are okay. Alright, so that was fine, but I definitely think that was wrong what I did before. I should have thought that out, but I was getting a little bit lazy. What was I saying earlier? Oh yeah, about my last draft too, about having fairly mediocre-ish decks getting into the finals. Well, we'll see you there.